please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Voting across 222 constituencies, nearly 5 crore people of Karnataka will decide who will have the keys to the Vidhan Sauda for the next 5 years. Will it be the Congress, the incumbent government, or will it be the BJP, or could it be the third player, the dark horse in this race, the JDS? The campaign was rigorous, it was acrimonious, it was highly personalized, and finally it came to an end 48 hours ago, and it all boils down to today. Today between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. when voters of Karnataka have the one chance, the once-in-5-year chance to decide who will get to rule them for the next 5 years. A state that has historically been anti-incumbent. Can Siddaramaiah literally defeat history in that sense? He put out a tweet a couple of days back saying, I'm not going to defeat history, I'm going to create history. On the other hand, the BJP's chief ministerial candidate, Yediyurappa, casting his vote nice and early in Shimoga. Remember, he's contesting from Shikaripura, a constituency that he's won from every election since 1983. He's lost only once there. That was in 1999, the famous SM Krishna election. He is confident that the BJP will get upwards of 130 seats. And then, of course, like I said, there's the third factor, the dark horse. JDS chief H.D. Devegowda casting his vote in Hassan. Remember, both his sons, Kumaraswamy and Revanna, are contesting in this election. The ruling Congress and the main opposition BJP are the two main contenders, but could the JDS spoil the party for either of these two national parties? The Election Commission sources saying over 55,000 polling stations have been set up, auxiliary booths in some stations as well. Over 3.5 lakh personnel, state and central government employees, are on poll duty to ensure free and fair polls. For the Congress, this is a high-stakes battle. If they lose Karnataka, they will be reduced to just Punjab and Puducherry, and the BJP's dream of a Congress Mukta Bharat, as the Prime Minister calls it, will be one step closer to reality. For the BJP, this is just as important, for them to prove to a national audience that they are indeed a pan-India party. The BJP today has governments in the west, in the north, in the northeast, but no government in the south. And this will be a gateway for the BJP once again to get a re-entry into South India. Meanwhile, Karnataka Minister for Urban Development, the minister in charge for Bengaluru, KJ George, he's contesting from Sarvagya Nagar in Bangalore. He's confident of a Congress victory. He says that the people will punish the corrupt BJP.
Our government.
That's the Urban Development Minister for in the Siddaramaiah government, KJ George, after casting his vote, confident that the Congress will retain power. Let's also bring in Indrajit Lankesh. He is the brother of Gauri Lankesh, the feisty journalist who was shot dead outside a home in Bengaluru. Indrajit Lankesh has been campaigning for the BJP through the course of this campaign. He's been campaigning with Amit Shah as well as other senior leaders of the BJP. He spoke to CNN News 18 right after casting his vote.
Indrajit, there have been a lot of discussions around this election. Unlike the previous election, there are a lot of different things when compared to all the previous terms as well. How do you look at it?
No, the people are frustrated and more aggressive this time. And they want to voice their opinion, what I've been seeing now. And there's a huge turnout, as I've seen from the compared to the last elections. And basically, the last 5 years, there's a complete failure of law and order. From the last 5 years, whether the government is able to protect the women, their security in general, and especially my sister, who was a woman, who was a journalist, and they were not able to give her minimum security, because it's the right of the government to give security to every citizen. Especially Gauri was working for the government. She was trying to bring the Naxalites in the mainstream.
All right, Indrajit Lankesh, the brother of the slain journalist Gauri Lankesh. He's been, of course, campaigning for the BJP along with senior BJP leaders. I think that's important to underline that. One of Gauri's sisters, Kavita, on the other hand, not campaigning, but effectively sort of saying that she's happy with the Siddaramaiah government, particularly on the investigation into her sister's murder. Let's bring in our guests, our reporters. We've got Revati from the Reddy Sangha School in Koramangala. We've got Stacey from the beautiful ISC campus in Bangalore. We also have here in our studios Radhika Ramseshan, consulting editor with the Business Standard newspaper. Rajesh Mahapatra, editor-at-large at the Hindustan Times newspaper. Sanjay Singh, political editor at firstpost.com, our sister concern. And Ajoy Bose, our very own resident commentator. So welcome, everyone. I'll go to the reporters first. Revati, you spoke to Indrajit Lankesh. Of course, this is extremely personal for him. His sister was shot dead outside her house. How has that changed the tone and tenor of this campaign? I remember when Gauri was shot dead on the 5th of September last year, a lot of people came out and said that, look, this is a marker. People need to draw a line in the sand. This is about law and order for sure, but it's also about the forces that she was fighting, the forces of communalism, the forces of religious intolerance. How much of that is an issue in this election?
Well, law and order has been one issue that the BJP has been time and again highlighting. After Gauri Lankesh's murder, after she was shot dead outside her house, it just added to that sort of a narrative. And remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he landed here in Karnataka on May 1st for the last phase of campaigning, the second or the third rally that he addressed was about law and order. Each of his rallies, he had talked about one particular issue. In the first one, if it was about development, about electrification of villages. In the second rally, the very second rally after that, he did talk about the law and order issue in Karnataka. So that has been one issue that the BJP has been time and again highlighting. And as far as the voters on the ground are concerned, perhaps during the New Year's Eve last year, that is when incidents like that happen, is when the voters on the ground also really talk about the law and order situation and how safe women are on the streets. So yes, it is one of the issues that are concerning the voters on the ground as well, but we've not seen voters really talk about that on the ground as much as they have talked about other issues that is concerning them in their day-to-day lives, like pollution or traffic for that matter. So while the BJP has put out a narrative of the law and order failure in Karnataka against the state government, we don't see that much of it being discussed amongst the voters in Bengaluru.
All right, I'll get a quick word in from Stacey as well. What are these issues that matter to Bangaloreans? What is it that they really care about? And do you see, in a city that's historically had, say, 1 in 2 voters turn out, it's had historically low voter turnouts, do you see that changing this time around? All right, that's the humble farmer, the former Prime Minister. Never write him off in a state election in Karnataka. You remember the 94 election, he came out of nowhere and won that election for the United Janata Dal. And that, in a sense, paved the way for him to become Prime Minister in 1996. So let me go back to Stacey. Yeah, Stacey, go on with your thought. What were you saying?
Right, you were talking about issues that matter to, Bengalurians or the voters, and the couple of them that walked into this polling booth, we did pose that question to them and ask them, what really do you go by, whether it's the candidate's credentials or party ideologies, or, who do you cast your vote for? And most of them, the youngsters at least, had one thing to say that, we just heard H.D. Devegowda, an 85-year-old, having that kind of political influence as such, and voters here saying that, they don't really want to see those faces. They would perhaps be happier seeing younger faces, people they can connect with. And I'm guessing that is something that is also the reason why you see a low voter turnout. One could probably just gauge, saying that they're not connecting with these people who they are seeing on the list, and they would rather have youngsters, people like-minded, to put out their views, whereas issues like caste and religion are not something that they are coming out to vote for, even though it's their fundamental right. That's why they're doing it. But they're really having to choose between, like you said before, the devil and the deep sea. So which is the I would say for now, just rough estimate, that is the sentiment between young voters, at least for now.
Okay, Stacey, thanks very much, Stacey and Revati. Let's get in our studio guests. I mean, H.D. Devegowda. I mean, Stacey was talking about younger people. Kumar Anna is how Kumaraswamy is known in those parts of old Mysore, and he's very, very popular. He's contesting from both Ramnagara as well as Channapatna. How much will the JDS be a factor? Will they get the kind of seats that we're talking about, 40, 50, 60 seats?
I mean, that really has to be seen on how they work out the caste arithmetic, because as I said earlier, the Muslims are not voting in as big a number for the JDS as they did in the previous elections.
And why is that?
Why is that? Because this notion has gone around that Kumaraswamy is waiting to do post-poll business with the BJP in case the mandate yields a hung assembly. So, you know, that has got embedded in the minds of Muslims, and they're determined to vote the Congress. And I mean, they normally they wouldn't have wasted their votes on the Congress if the Congress didn't have a strong core. But the Congress does have a core base in the old Mysuru region. So I would say that the JDS's position is quite iffy if you compare it with the past elections.
So why then, Rajesh Mahapatra, are pollsters, pundits, you turn to every channel, they're saying, you know, never rule out Deve Gowda, he's the humble farmer, he can actually, you know, surprise you. Why are, you know, pollsters and pundits giving so much importance to him and his party?
Maybe they are going by the past, and I mean, I would say history is not on the side of the Congress, but we have to see whether politics will be different. And chances are politics will be different, at least in old Mysore. That's what my sense is.
Is it fair to say that the worse the JDS does, the better it is for Congress?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that goes without saying.
Okay. Sanjay Singh, the big unknown, the big uncertainty, of course, in this election, and this will play out not just in Hubli Dharwad, but also all around the North Karnataka region, is the Lingayat factor. What is it that you're picking up from the ground? Do you believe that this gamble by Siddaramaiah is working for the Congress, or is it backfiring?
I don't think this was a very good move by Siddaramaiah to go for Lingayat as minority religion for two reasons. A, this came very late in the day. Congress had already rejected that 2013. And more so, if this was a move, how much of Lingayat can you actually break from, even if you go for that particular move? Yedurappa was a very strong, still is a very strong Lingayat leader. If you look at last election statistics, he voted for about 11% of votes.
Yeah.
And generally, you never rule out casteist leaders who have solid caste support base. In this particular case, there is also a history, those who went out of BJP and came back,
have come back.
They lost in terms of their popularity, influence and clout within and outside of the party. But then, if there are reports that this Lingayat minority religion move is also backfiring, in the sense there is feeling that he is trying to break Hindu religion and so on and so forth. And therefore, if there is a counter move, if there is a counter polarization, then I think there is problem for Siddaramaiah.
The one interesting data point between 2013 and now is the fact that if Yedurappa and Sriramulu's respective individual parties contested with the BJP, if it was a united BJP in 2013, the BJP's vote share would have gone up from 20-odd% to 33%. If you were to break that down into seats, they would have gone from 40 seats to 80 seats, and the Congress would have come down from 122 to 82. Will that be a critical factor in this election, the fact that the BJP is a united house as opposed to what it was 5 years ago?
I don't know whether critical, but certainly a very important factor, because we have to put this in perspective, including Siddaramaiah's Lingayat move. The Lingayat vote is not the Congress vote.
Yeah.
The Congress was not going to get any of the Lingayat vote. When Yedurappa split away last time, it cost the BJP because it did not get its core vote, which is the Lingayat vote. Today, that Lingayat vote is back with Yedurappa, but the Congress has played this card. Now, it cannot harm the Congress because it's not a vote which is with the Congress in any case. Whether it gains the Congress remains to be seen. Even if it gains by 5%, it's a 5% gain. What I'm trying to say is that it's a vote, it's a move which cannot backfire, but it is a vote which may not click. I mean, it's a move which may not click. So we must put this into perspective. The real problem for the BJP is, although it's certainly making a comeback compared to 2013, is that it's handicapped because virtually nothing in 65 seats in the Mysuru belt.
Yeah.
So it has to really sweep the rest of the seats. There has to be a wave situation for the BJP to get a clear majority.
So you're basically saying instead of 222, they're actually effectively contesting in about 150 seats.
Absolutely. And they have to really sweep. So you have to have a wave situation. Yeah, we have to, yeah, 80%. So that is why on the face of it, it looks unlikely that there is a wave for the BJP.
Okay.
I have to also point out that its chief ministerial candidate has not been really in the forefront in these elections. There is no question that there is a perception that Yediyurappa, because his son was denied a ticket, because he's been also not, you know, I mean, it's no longer the old Yediyurappa, we must remember.
Not the Yediyurappa of 2008.
He's a lion in winter.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have such huge figures like Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, who's dominating the election. Some of the ads which were taken out in newspapers did not even feature Yediyurappa, but it was basically Narendra Modi and Amit Shah.
Yeah, but the counter to that is, you know, how do chief ministers really matter? I mean, Manohar Lal Khattar, the Haryana election was not fought on his face. Neither was Maharashtra fought on Devendra Fadnavis' face.
All I'm trying to say, the Yediyurappa as the Lingayat vote catcher.
Sure.
I mean, all I'm trying to say is that he's no longer. So we have to say how it plays out, because we really do not know. The voter, you know, these are very nuanced elections, and each state has its particular, and each region in that state has its own particular dynamic.
Okay.
So we need to be careful.
I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we'll explore this in a little more detail. What is it that Siddaramaiah has managed to do over the last 5 years? Why does the Congress party feel it has perhaps the best chance of retaining this state, a state which has historically voted out governments? The last time an incumbent government, an incumbent chief minister got voted back to power was in 1985. That was the legendary Ramakrishna Hegde. But can Siddaramaiah, as he says, create history as opposed to fight history? Quick break. Our guests are here with us. Our reporters are here with us. And like I've been saying this again and again, this is the channel that created a name for itself covering elections. This is your one-stop destination for all things Karnataka. We'll be back right on the other side.